What's up, fellow YouTubers? I'm Spencer24Sony, and this is my review of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic takes place 4,000 years before the events in Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. The story begins with a ship called the Endar Spire that, while hovering over the planet Taris, becomes ambushed by a Sith battle fleet led by the Sith Lord Darth Malak. You wake up on the ship, and you slowly realize what's happening. Suddenly, a man named Trask Ulgo appears, and though you don't know who he is, he appears to be your bunkmate on the Endar Spire, though you hadn't seen him before because you and him work opposite shifts. And he explains everything else, and he explains them pretty well, because you can ask him anything, and if you still don't understand, you can ask him again. You can design your character's name, face, clothing, and pretty much everything else to your own personal liking, which I really liked. Anyway, you and Trask, and pretty much everyone else on the ship, are assigned to protect a Jedi named Bastila, who the Sith fleet wants to take alive, which is the only reason why they hadn't destroyed the ship completely. I wondered why this whole ship was trying to protect just one Jedi, and why the Sith wanted her, and why they wanted her alive. But over time, my questions got answered, and everything ends up making a lot of sense. Indeed, the game is extremely complicated, and throughout the entire game there are many, many things going on. But they all get explained slowly and steadily. I don't want to say much else about the story in case you haven't played the game yet, but eventually you meet this character named Cartho Nassi. Cartho Nassi is a great character. He is very interesting and flawed, mainly because of his past, which has caused him to not trust people easily. Over the course of the game, if of course you want to, you can ask him questions about his past and what he's done. And it's just great because he develops so well, and eventually you start to gain his trust. My other favorite character is the character that you meet next, called Mission Veo. You first see her hanging out in a cantina along with her pal Zaalbar, who's a Wookiee. The pair reminded me of Han Solo and Chewbacca, and if you saw them, you know why. I didn't much care for Zaalbar, but I loved Mission. She's just this mean teenager who's had lived the last couple of her 14 years of life on the street. And although she may look and sound sweet and innocent, she really has this don't mess with me attitude that I just loved. Still, at the same time, she's also protective and quite caring of her friends. You meet a few more characters after that, but eventually you find Bastila, who I also really like. She's intelligent and forgiving, but also has a few little emotions that sometimes get in her way, and she can occasionally act quite bratty, but I liked all these things about her. There are about 400 other brilliant characters in the game, and I mean it. There are all these stories and subplots, and everything steadily gets set up, and the game also has really good humor. And there are definitely a few absolutely shocking twists. The characters discuss their feelings and talk with each other throughout the game. And one of the things that I love about this game is that if there's a character in your party that you don't like, you don't have to say anything to them, or pretty much do anything with them through the end of the game. Although I doubt that will be a problem. The graphics are amazingly 3D and strangely look very real to me. Everything has great lighting and detail. You won't find an area that is similar to another. The gameplay is very realistic and smooth, but it is a little different than that in most games, in the ways that you attack. I can understand if someone didn't like it, but either you'll like it or you won't, and I liked it. There are so many things I could say about this video game. Yes, it's that good, but I don't want to trail off and lose my main focuses. And trust me, that'll happen. If there is a game in the world that comes close to perfect, it's Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, which is why I'm giving it a perfect rating of 10.0 out of 10. I'm Spencer24Sony, and this is my review of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic.